I just really would encourage you guys to maybe not hide these things from your kids, but have open discussions about them and really talk about the power of them versus, hey, this is something you can't touch. This is something you can't play with. This is just something for mommy and daddy, right? Those things always are gonna, from my perspective, I'm certain there's plenty of other opinions here, but those are just gonna, turn your kids away from you, right? If we can't have a conversation about this, what the hell are we doing? So anyway, I'll jump up.
So today we got deep into everything about AI. The way we framed this topic in the beginning was basically an invitation to let people come up, talk about their fears, talk about their use cases, talk about their excitements, and basically any kind of opinion all surrounding AI. And what resulted from that was amazing. You'll notice as you're listening to this that there is a shift in vibe. At first, there were a lot of fears surrounding AI. There was a lot of uncertainty. And as we moved forward, you can feel the shift in that vibe to one of understanding, of positivity and acceptance. And 100%, I will attribute this to our incredible guests. Everyone came to the stage with an open mind. Everyone came to the stage from a place of honesty, patience, and you could tell that people were there to just gain a better understanding. So not only were we left with a space where we covered all different types of implications about AI, but we also really helped a lot of people kind of just learn to accept and just find a better mindset to be able to move forward in a world where AI is inevitable. And I think a lot of people left this space feeling a bit more empowered, feeling ready to help their kids navigate a world where there's now AI. They felt more empowered themselves to dig deeper and maybe implement AI into their own lives. So I'm really excited about this space, and it's such an honor to share it here with you, and I hope you all enjoy.
With you, Quantic. Serge, you were there. So this is very reminiscent of the good old days, and it's a pleasure to be hanging out with you again, my friend.
100%, Trav. Yeah, man, you bring the vibes that I needed to this space. Thank you very much. I am, so happy. I don't feel complete when I'm doing Web3 Matters if you are not there, So the feeling is mutual, my friend. And absolutely, Serge, I remember pretty well. Serge was there, and it was, a pretty amazing space. And that's when I realized that we got something going on there. And also a big shout out to the people that has been there right from the beginning, Whole Domains, Bruce, my friend Bruce. It was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, my friend. Our friend also Siri, a lot of the people that I see here, the Genie, amazing guys. Thank you very much for being always with us, and we're going to have some fun and to grow together and to learn things every single Friday. I can promise you that.
Couldn't agree more. And very well said there, Quantic. And let me just take a moment and return that sentiment back towards you, man. I mean, clearly we are a team here. And I know there were a couple of episodes where we either had technical difficulties or, well, no, it was always technical difficulties. But your presence is it's necessary. I feel like we complement each other's styles and each other's vibes very well. And you can't have one without the other. There's no... I was trying to think of something, a funny way to say this, but it's just, there's nothing coming up right now, but Web3 is not one or the other of us. It's certainly both of us. So what a pleasure, man. What a pleasure indeed. But yes, let's get back to the topic at hand. I want to hand the mic back to you there, Quantic, and get us back on track here.
Sure, absolutely. Since, we were talking with Togo about software development and he mentioned CoPilot, I wanted to see if we can explain to the audience here what is CoPilot and what can people, how can people leverage that?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I can hop in here to explain what CoPilot is. So CoPilot, so GitHub is the main code platform in the whole world, and it's owned by Microsoft. And as you may know, Microsoft has made a big investment in OpenAI, which is developing GPT-3 and GPT-4. And this led to an opportunity for them to have basically GPT-3 learning, reading at least the whole code that exists on GitHub, which is the largest code base on Earth. And they are using this, so they hook it directly into your code editor, which I use VS Code like most developers do. And what Copilot does basically is that it reads your whole project, and it has the experience of. It's like having someone looking over your shoulder at what you're doing, and that person has the experience of all the previous coders of all time on Earth, and it's reading what you're doing, and it's making suggestions, and you can see the suggestions that Copilot is doing all the time, like it's always active, and it looks like it's like a blurry line of code, like okay, it's like if someone was whispering to you here, I think you should write that after what you're doing. And sometimes you can even write a comment saying, okay, I would like to do that, and let Copilot do the rest of the work. And so it's just like very smart suggestions. And because of this, and because it's not, it's actually understanding what you're doing. Sometimes it's able to code whole functions for you, and to make you gain some time.
Just first thoughts on that is I don't have a coding background per se, but I've definitely, experimented with it, and I've taken some time to start learning about it. But I can just imagine kind of one of the biggest what am I trying to say here? One of the biggest positives about this is I can't even imagine how much more efficient that process has got to be. Since you've started using the AI when it comes to coding, how much time on average do you find that you save when it comes to just, I don't know, a typical process or a typical coding session that you would have in a day?
I think I'm still learning myself to use it the best I can, but I wouldn't say it's like, I think I'm gaining maybe 30 to 40% of my time. It's not yet as big of a game changer as it's sometimes advertised, but you can really see the potential here. But I think I'm gaining maybe 30% of my time or something like that, which is a lot.
No kidding, man. And yeah, so based on that, I mean, 30 to 40% of your time is incredible. Like, you can, have that extra time to do things outside of work, or you can have that time to get further ahead when it comes to, growth of your company, growth of your product. And I mean, just like you said, this is kind of the early stages of the game. So it's crazy to think how much more potential there may be moving forward. But let me ask you this there, Tubo. Have you noticed any kind of flaws, any inefficiencies, any kind of downsides at all when it comes to the AI?
I think it doesn't like it's not replacing your experience as a developer, and you have to be experienced, because and it's the same with GPT. I mean, with using ChatGPT and just talking with the AI, you have to check everything it's doing, because it will make mistakes. So it can make you gain time, but if you trust it too much, you're gonna make mistakes. But I mean, it's the same with a regular human, by the way. I mean, if you were just hiring someone, that someone is going to make mistakes as well. And this is why we have code reviews and all that. But I would say, just be careful not to use it with something you don't understand already. Like, try to learn the language or the tech you're using before just trusting GPT-3 with it.
Very cool, man. Thank you for sharing that. Quantic, I see your mic's out. I want to send it back to you in 2 seconds here. But there was a question that came to mind that I just want to kind of leave open on the floor here. And that's for anyone who wants to come and join us today. I'm curious to know, do you have any kind of victory stories when it comes to AI and using it in whatever application that it is that you choose? And then also, do you have any horror stories? I'm curious, like, when it comes to kind of the success stories, what I'm curious to know is any moment where it was just kind of like an aha moment, or a holy crap, this is incredible moment, or wow, this led to a game changing shift in how I do what it is that I do, versus kind of the nightmare moments where wow, this, I don't know, created a robot that became animated and tried to take over my family. One of those common things that tends to happen from time to time. So just to kind of leave that out there, I'm curious to kind of get into these specific stories of how it's affected you, and just kind of take that from there. But Quantic, I want to send the mic back to you, my friend.
I mean, it's a great question, the one that you did. So since we already gave Tobu like 5 seconds to think about all of the horror of AI, let's hear it.
Sorry, I think someone was asking for the floor, DeFi Alpha. I saw it in the comments. But I do not have a horror story yet. I mean, I think I'm gonna have pretty soon, because maybe it's a bit too early. But I have horror stories that I'm used to. Is like whenever I'm tired and I approve some code written by someone else or even by myself that I haven't double checked too much, and it leads to terrible things in your code base that you have to fix afterwards. I think that may happen more often now than before. So we definitely have to stay vigilant, I suppose.
Gotcha. So definitely something to add into the cost benefit analysis when it comes to, making this shift in terms of developing anyway. So awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. This is definitely a whole new area that I am brand new to. So I'm very, very intrigued to hear how it's been helping or hindering people in all different areas. So no, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I look forward to diving more into that here. So Quantic, I want to give you the mic back here, my friend.
Sure. So the main topic of this space will be like the impact of AI in the job market, specifically in Web3. So one of the things that we should state at this moment is that, this is something in which we are going to speculate a little bit. I mean, there are already some trends that you can see, but just to start driving this conversation towards that goal, one question that I want to ask to Tobu is about if you believe that AI is going to not to steal the jobs, but to reduce the number of developers that you might need, for instance, for a process, because now one single developer can do a lot more of stuff in a reduced time compared with the same developer that doesn't have access to the AI. So I don't know if you have thought about that and what is your view about that. And then let's hear the point of view from Serge, because I saw that you raised your hand.
I think on this one, I've seen that point of view a lot on Twitter, and I think the same is that, as developers, our whole work is to work hard to try to make ourselves useless. You're all the time you're writing some programs, so humans don't have to do the work. So we already have been making ourselves out of a job for years and years. So GPT making that faster isn't really changing fundamentally. It's not changing something. There is still probably a fundamental change here, but I think this world. We've been seeing like shortage of engineers when it comes to coding for years, and the world definitely needs a whole lot more of software. So I'm not too concerned about the job market. I think definitely we are going to do more with less time, and that's good. That's good. In other spaces, though, I'm a bit more worried. Like, for example, for designers, this is a space I know less. But when it comes to designers or illustrators, we already have some experience with people not getting hired because Midjourney does a pretty good job. It may come to coding as well. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I really like that take. And that's actually one that I haven't considered yet up to this point there, Tubo, is how that that evolution has been happening regardless. Systems are becoming more efficient. Just the languages themselves, from what I understand anyways, and correct me if I'm wrong, are becoming more intuitive. So that process of, making that job to begin with is becoming less and less of, a manpower required position. So that's a very grounded and very realistic approach when it comes to AI, how it's just kind of that next level of that evolution here. So Ben, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. That's you're provoking some thoughts here that are exactly the kind of thoughts that I was hoping I would get. You're pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. So we have got a couple of other amazing guests here today. We've got Angie, a fellow Canadian. Awesome to have you here again as well. And then Siri, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. You've also been just a huge supporter over the years, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you back. So Quantic, I need your help. Did you notice whose hand was up first? Because I sure don't.
Yeah, I think the order is first Serge, then Angie, then Siri, and then our friend DeFi Alpha.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so happy you knew that. Awesome. Serge, the mic is yours, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. So glad to see so many familiar faces here. So actually, I just wanted to throw one funny story here, because, if you remember the times of the horses when the cars was developed, a lot of people was afraid that it's a very bad and it shouldn't be applied. So there was a lot of people who was against it, etc. But we live in the era of the cars, so it's actually improved our lives. It's make our life better, give a lot of opportunities. So I think the same thing happening here. A lot of people who do not understand it are really afraid of it. But to be honest, it will give us much more opportunities. So definitely the labor could change, but it will give much more opportunities for all of us. So I think we shouldn't be afraid of it. We should learn how to use it properly. So that's it.
Serge, I appreciate that perspective, my friend. It's very optimistic. It's very, again, it's one that's grounded in facts from our past. This is not a new incident where we have this groundbreaking technology, which I don't know if you guys can see right now, but I have quotations up kind of to the side of my head here, where something's come in to completely rearrange the paradigm of what it is that we know as human beings. And the trend over the past has been quality of life for everyone, or for most people anyways, has been improving on the daily. We've become more comfortable. We've had more time to do things outside of grinding every day. So again, I'm happy to see that on the table, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone else's perspectives here. So Serge, thanks again, my friend. Once again, and as per usual, nothing but value coming from you, my friend. So it's a pleasure as always here. Let's see here. Okay, you said Angie was next, Quantic, and then Siri. Oh my goodness, my memory is failing me today. I need some AI.
Yes, so it is Angie, then Siri, then DeFi Alpha, and then our friend KD who just joined. But let's hear first from Angie. How are you doing today?
Good morning, or I should say good afternoon, Quantic Trav. Hope you guys are doing well. Hello to the speakers, Serge, Siri, Katie, Tobu. Nice to meet all of you, and to everyone here listening. I would like to make a comment regarding definitely this groundbreaking technology. As a mother, as a parent, my concern is how are schools from elementary to CEGEP to universities, how are they using or integrating AI? And how do we control or manage kids who are going to be using ChatGPT, let's say, to write their essays or to do all these difficult and mind treacherous tasks that actually requires you to use your brain, right? So, I mean, I grew up in the era of opening up a dictionary, a Becherel, the encyclopedia. I didn't have any of the Google luxuries, but of course, it's groundbreaking, it's evolution, we need it, but there needs to be ethics adapted and implemented, because I have a feeling that we're going to have a generation of dumb kids. And I'm sorry to use that term, but this is my fear. So like my kids are young, they're 11, and they use Google, but I also give them an old school dictionary, and I have them look up for words that they need to spell, or the definition of words, just to make sure that their brain is developing properly, and they're not depending on Google or ChatGPT to do stuff for them. So this is my concern. I'm not sure if anyone wants to weigh in, but thank you for giving me the platform to speak. I appreciate it. And happy Friday.
Happy
Absolutely,
Friday.
Angie. Go ahead, Trav.
Perfect. Hey, thank you, Quantic. Thank you. And normally I would hand it right back at you, but there were a couple of things I really wanted to respond to there. And the first thing is, I have not heard the word bechamel in decades. And oh man, you just brought me back to a day of, just childhood. It's crazy.
I literally just doxed my age, but it's all good.
Oh,
you remember, it's the green little book, the Bechamel.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I used those on the daily, actually, growing up for a while. I was in French immersion for a long time. So very, very acquainted with the Bechamel. And honestly, I enjoyed using it. It was always very helpful. The one thing I could actually chime in about this there, Angie, is to share a little bit of alpha that I've kind of learned throughout the last couple of weeks, or however long it's been. The one thing I've learned is that as AI is developing, and as these new opportunities are arising to have AI write an entire essay for you, as are technologies that are basically dedicated to the function of identifying AI written what word am I looking for? Content. There we go. AI written content. So I do believe that there will be tools in place to help mitigate that. The opinion that I've heard recently, having this exact same conversation, is that it's somebody's voice is very distinct and very unique, and that's one thing that AI, it is getting there, which is kind of wild to think about, but it does have, it's tough to really nail down someone's voice, if you know what I mean, when it comes to writing. So I think that is going to also make that process a bit harder. So yeah, no, that's about all that I have. I'm not a parent, so it's really hard for me to fully understand what that fear has got to be like. Because man, yeah, I'm that is very valid and very worrisome and anxiety inducing. You obviously want the best for your kids growing up, and you want them to be able to grow up in a way where they're gonna blossom when it comes to creativity and thoughts and all of that stuff. So yeah, now that's my one contribution to that, anyways. And there are
If I can add to that, I'll give you an example. My girls, they have iPhones. There's no data package, so they're just on our Wi-Fi, and they watch their little YouTube videos and stuff. But they started texting. We have a group chat, right? And I was impressed. I'm like, wow, like their writing skills have really improved. Their spelling, and then I actually caught one of my daughters using VoiceOver to write a text message. So then I looked at it and I said, do you ever type words, or do you always use voice? She's like, well, why, Mommy? Why should I take the time to type when I just have to speak in the phone and it writes it for me? And then I'm like, oh my God. I go grab a piece of paper and I asked her to write a sentence, and I was fucking floored. Excuse my language. Every single word had a spelling mistake. So as a parent, you're like, holy shit, my kid's not learning. She's relying on VoiceOver to write her text, write her messages. I quickly, had a discussion with the girls, and I said to them, listen, it's important that you write your words by yourself. It'll help you learn. It'll help you with your spelling. But it just opened up, like, in my head, it opened up all, like already I have anxiety as we spoke in your last space. So my anxiety just went through the roof. Like, my kids are dumb. Like, they can't even spell a word. Anyway, so, I discussed with the teachers and I asked them, what are we doing in class? I know there's tablets and there's stuff, electronics that they're using, but all this to say, like, it's very easy for kids to not learn properly right now at a young age. It's the fundamentals of learning. If you're not banging on that right now properly, then your kids are going to suffer later on.
Hot take indeed. Definitely the reality that we are facing right now. I'm curious to know if anyone has a response to that. Quantic, I want to hand you the mic back because you also you were also wanting to jump in there. So I'm going to send the mic right back your way, my friend.
Yeah, sure. I definitely agree with your, I sympathize with your concern because I also have a daughter, and I see these things. It's going to happen. It's going to be a problem. That's for sure. And the important thing is that we have to shift the focus from putting so much value into the end result, like they having good qualifications for a couple of questions, because now that knowledge is kind of useless with the AI. But we have to put more emphasis and more focus on the process, because it will be the process that will help our kids to really learn what's important, right? But I don't know if anyone here has a different take. I don't know who wants. I got lost with the order here. Who wants to speak on this subject? Just jump.
Hello everybody. I'd like to say something concerning what Angie just said. AI is a next level. It's a next level development, which, as it is now, a lot of kids in their high school that have been using AI, and it's actually corrupting their sense of reasoning. It's actually making them see things in a very different way, which will not help them. It will only deter their knowledge. It will only bring down their thinking, making them only focus on AI, which is very bad. Take ChatGPT as an example. I'm a high school kid, and a lot of us use ChatGPT for our essays, when we have lessons to learn, quiz, projects, we use AI, and it's really affecting us. Because come to think of it, you are a A grade student. Like, everything you do is an A grade something, and when you are called out to defend your results, called out to talk on something, it's just something that when you start, you are not able to do anything about it. Like, AI is really messing up the education system. But a way that will help us, like parents, I'm not a parent actually, but I do take all these things into actions because I'm a student. A way that actually help us to reduce the way AI is leveraging our brain, bringing us down, is actually not improving our knowledge. It's bringing us and making us see as if things are very easy, while on the other hand, our mentality is deteriorating. For parents, I'll advise us to focus more on our students, I'll focus more on our kids, in the sense that, okay, you are back from school, everybody else should keep their phones. Seize their phones. Do not give them the opportunity to use their phones during school works. Yes, that is a very good way that you can know if your kid is actually improving or not. Your kid is actually improving, because a lot of us, we are actually miscalculating ourselves when it comes to the technology. And talking about AI as a creator or a destroyer of jobs, it has its advantages and it also has its disadvantages. Disadvantages in the sense that we only focus on AI. We only focus on AI to do things for us, focusing on AI to write job proposals for us, focusing on AI to talk to our devs and lots more, which is actually bringing us down. When you talk to improving in all aspects, and you are putting AI into everything you're doing, it actually brings you from a higher level down to a lower level. Be it school, be it the Web3, be it any place, AI is only helping just to reduce our task, but it's not helping us when it comes to the knowledge aspect. It's not helping us when it comes to the brain aspect of it. It's only bringing us down. So this is a very good topic. Quantic, I really appreciate you for bringing this topic, up. I think it's really amazing. I've been wanting to talk on something like this, but I've not gotten the opportunity up till now. So it will be very appreciated if our parents should look up to us, like monitor our education system more, since the technology is actually improving to bring us from our higher level down to our lower level. It's actually going to affect us. Like imagine you are a graduate and you cannot defend your certificate. What kind of a graduate is that? Imagine you got a work from a developer, because I'm actually a community manager and a community moderator. I do both. Imagine I talk to a dev using the proposal that ChatGPT gave to me. Then when it comes to me executing my work, I cannot do anything because of what? The proposal I dropped is not from my knowledge. So you see, ChatGPT AI itself is only helping us reduce our task, while it's also taking us from a higher level to a lower level. Thank you guys for letting me speak. This is a really wonderful time. I love the fact that I could be able to say something concerning AI. Quantic, I really love you for this space. It's really amazing. Thank you guys.
Thank you, my friend DeFi Alpha, for sharing such an insightful opinion about AI, its impact. And you gave us a lot of things to think about. I'm super happy that so many people here are engaged with this topic. I am very passionate about it. I am very actually scared and concerned about what's happening now, because I believe that we're in a critical moment of our history as a human species when it comes to AI and where do we want to take this technology. So I just want to say that I really appreciate your words and everybody who joined it today. I don't know who is next. Are you?
I believe.
People? Yeah, give me a
Yeah,
time
yeah.
with that.
So Katie's hand has been up for a little bit. So I did see Surgeon Coach's hand show up during other parts of the conversation. So I'm not sure if they were up to respond. But Katie, your hand's been up. Your arms must be getting tired here. So I want to send the mic back to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, all. Trev, hope you're doing well. Sorry, I don't know anybody else in here except Trev, so I hope everyone is doing well today. Hey, man, it's funny because I just walked in here and you guys were talking about AI, and I think, Trev, we've been in other conversations about AI on CPA, on Chill Pill Space, and I personally don't like AI. So just a couple of little things. So yesterday I got two kids, but my 10 years old son yesterday sends me a video from TikTok where he says where TikTok is advertising AI on how to break up with your girlfriend. My question that my son asked me is like, Dad, why would somebody use AI to break up with somebody? Like, why? Why would they do that? They cannot talk. So what do you tell a 10 years old kid, that is grown up right now with so much technology that it blew my mind. So I sent it to my wife and I was like, babe, you better take care of it. But somebody mentioned something about the car manufacturer, how AI is being utilized for so long. Yeah, it is true. It's being utilized for so long, but to a certain limit. Don't forget that the unions are so powerful that they will not allow AI to full use into into the car industry or even in the ports. Like they try every day to bring new technologies into it, but they want people to work, so they do not allow that. Becomes, at the end of the day, these unions are worrying about the future of people. At the end of the day, we all know the unions sometimes, most of the time, are mafia run, but as well, at the same time, they do take care of people. I personally hate AI, man. I feel like if we as humanity leave AI to a full 100% usage of it, I think we all gonna be like, what's that movie? The bees, with the bees that they're not working because you got artificial honey, and they're all getting fat and sitting in front of the TV. All they're doing is drinking. You're losing their interaction with people, and oh my God, it's just just the thought of it, thinking, it just blows my mind. And like I said, the perfect example was my son yesterday sending me that text. Why would somebody ask AI on how to break up with their girlfriend? Like, it's freaking scary, man. Thanks, yo.
Man, yeah, thanks for sharing your take there, Katie. And always a pleasure to hang out with you, man. It's we've hung out a couple of times now, and always a pleasure, brother. So appreciate you being here. Appreciate you sharing your story. Is that movie you were talking about? Is that Wall-E by any chance? I don't remember any.
Not Wall-E.
Bees
The one with the bees, man. The bees that they take the humanity.
The bees.
They take humanity into to court because of the bees. I forgot the name of the movie because my kid's watching it. So I don't know. Maybe Andrew right here, probably she knows as well which one it is.
Is that with Seinfeld?
Gee, I'm trying to remember right now. It was a cartoon movie.
It is. Yeah, it is. Hold on. I'm going to Google this. Hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. I'll be right back.
Oh, come on. No, please don't do that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Speaking of ChatGPT, somebody's actually using ChatGPT to ask questions.
Well. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, I like also your contribution there, KD, about talking about unions, and I think that is definitely a whole other element here. Of course, they're going to be trying to protect jobs, so that perhaps that could be a good fail-safe in place, to keep people in the workforce. So appreciate you contributing that, my friend, and definitely, and that's an interesting situation that you had with your kid here. It's definitely almost seems like it certainly caught you off guard. That is for sure. And I'm sure it was a very eye-opening experience for you as well, on what heck kind of questions are they going to come up with next, So I'm curious to know, kind of how that goes for you in the future. So yeah, definitely let's keep in touch. Man, I honestly, I can't imagine being a parent in general, let alone with all the stuff out there. Just it's
but Trev, like, how do you break up with somebody through a freaking AI? Seriously, like, you don't even have the guts to create something and be like, hey, sweetie, I'm breaking up with you. That's it. But you have to ask AI how to word it out. Like, it blows my mind, man. I swear.
Oh man, honestly, that right there sounds like an incredible opportunity to tell your kid how to be a good person, like that should have nothing to do with that scenario. Technology should have nothing to do with that scenario. That type of scenario should be happening in person. So I wonder if, that is an opportunity to help, instill strong values into your young one. I wouldn't know for sure. I'm not a parent. I have zero idea, but this is just a thought that crossed my mind here. So, my man, yeah, appreciate that. Quantic, I want to send you the mic back. Yeah, you are our AI resident pro here. So I just want to make sure that you have enough time to, really, really get your thoughts out there. And I think you're going to bring a lot of value to this conversation here. So the mic is yours.
Yeah, my brain right now is spinning with all of the ideas and all of the things that I haven't considered about AI and, potential problems. So, I'm kind of in shock. I don't know if you can give me a hand here, Serge, or I don't know who was next in the list of the speakers, because I need to think more about this right now.
If I can jump in and just give some thoughts about it for NG and for KD, because
please do.
Well, because there is like two kind of persons, the one with half empty cup and one with half full. So I'm the second one. So I'm positive thinker, and I think that it depends on there is like two extremes, and I see it a lot. Like some of the parents do not provide techs and gadgets to their kids at all, like limited it to zero. Some of them just given it and do not control it. And I think both of them are bad. So I'm the father of three. So I have like 14 years old son, 3 years old son, and 5-year-old son. And I think if you control the amount of the time which they play and use the gadgets, it can be pretty good for their brains. If you give it and without any permissions and without limitations, it can really hurt them a lot. And so I'm here completely with DeFi Alpha. So yeah, definitely. But I see it's more like if you will teach them how to use it properly, if you give them to make them more curious, more creative, and help them in this path, they can become much more powerful. Because what I personally feel that we need to get in touch with our kids more to learn their pains, their sufferings, their problems. Because if you will give them the AI, definitely they will start talking to AI instead of you. But it should be you to whom they should be speaking, not to AI how to break with the girls. So yeah, it sounds really ridiculous, but maybe we should spend more time with them. Because yes, it's busy times. It's hard sometimes to spare the time. We launch their products, like etc. But maybe the problem not in the tech, but somewhere else. I'm just a bit philosophy here. So thanks, guys.
Serge, I appreciate you bringing that perspective to the table. I feel that. And first of all, I'm going to say this multiple times while we're on this topic. I'm not a parent, so I have zero idea what the heck I'm talking about when it comes to things like this. But how's this for a take? Maybe AI can allow parents, I guess, to become more efficient when it comes to their time, so that they can have more time to hang out with their kids. Is that crazy? Am I stepping on people's toes here? Am I offensive? I'm not quite sure. Let me know.
You're actually quite right.
So I lost the order, guys, here. I think that the correct order is NFT Unicorn or the upper chain, and then Tobu, and then our friend Major who just joined it. So if we can go on that order, I would really appreciate it.
You nailed it, brother. Coach, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, guys. Awesome to be here again. Loved the way you tried something new this week, Trev, with the videos. looks good. Quantic, awesome to hear you as well. Angie, I know what you're feeling in DeFi Alpha, and Serge as well. I got 2 little girls, and maybe I'm lucky. They're very young, and I'm trying to teach my oldest one to use GPT to get some answers from questions that she has, and I don't really know the answer. Normally I Google them, and from now on, they don't have their own phones yet, and we are doing it together. But this might be an interesting thought, right? You guys are parents now, and we were in pretty much the same situation in maybe the 80s or the 90s. I don't know how old you are, when the internet arrived. It opened up an entire world for us. And my parents, I had lucky parents. My parents said, you cannot use the internet because I have to use the phone, and so I got cut off the internet. But most of the time, I agree with all of you that you are responsible as a parent to teach them how to use the internet and to teach them how to use ChatGPT. But you probably did the same thing as I did. As soon as my parents were gone, or as soon as I was at school, we did all the things that were not allowed. And the big difference between then and now is that they all have smartphones, so we don't. So that might be a big difference. But I think you can teach your kids all kind of stuff, and I think that's your responsibility as well as a parent. But it also depends on who are their friends, which school do they go to, and they are going to be the new generation that gonna work out the AI part for their kids, and it will be a great journey for all of us, but also for all of them. And the only thing that scares me a lot is that even though I believe my kids, I will hope they try to do something stupid, because they will learn, to be honest. And let's just hope that they can think about it. Well, that's not the right way to do it, and they will talk about it as well. The only thing that I'm worried about is we can use it. We're talking about kids, and kids are pretty harmless with the ChatGPT. They might copy some text and use it in school, and they get an A+ or something like that. But we are also talking about others, grown-ups, who can use ChatGPT for all the other reasons. That kind of worries me a bit. But from the perspective that I see it, I think that is a great opportunity for a lot of guys to learn a lot, and we can use it to make the world better. And just look at the internet when it started, and look at where we are now. Think about where you're going to be at in the next 20 years. Thanks for having me, guys, for listening to my story.
Coach, great contribution, my friend. I appreciate that. And what I'm left feeling after while listening to what you were speaking about here is that, AI is just like all things that have come and gone are now still here and established, is that it's inevitable. So what is the best way to frame our minds about that moving forward? Is it going to be helpful to be afraid of it and to fear it and to have that direct our actions based around it? Or is it best to come at it with a mindset of positivity, optimism, and but then also diligence? You know what I mean? So coming at it from a point of view that's accepting of the fact that it's here to stay. Now, how can we move past that, and how can we incorporate that into our lives? So great contribution there, Coach. Always a pleasure to have you up here, my friend. Your vibe is so just chill and lovely here. So I appreciate you being here as always.
Hey, can I add something on that?
Sure. Yeah. Have at it.
Yeah, I mean, so as parents, I don't think it will be invaluable. I mean, it will be very hard for us to try to avoid AI. I mean, as parents, that's the truth. I mean, even if we want or we don't want to, we already learn from our mistakes, and our kids gonna do plenty of mistakes. And I want them to do mistakes, because without them, no one is perfect this day. At the end of the day, I just hope. Literally, I pray to God and I hope to God that whatever AI technology really comes out there, it gets used responsibly and for the good of our kids and the future, instead of using it for the wrong stuff. Like I said, it's very scary, and it's something that we cannot avoid even if we want to. But, I hope the generation, our kids really go above and beyond to really break it down to small details and trying to, fix the mistakes and probably make it a little more friendly user, I guess. Instead of using it for a breakup, you can use it to save somebody from a cancer, I don't know. I'm just throwing some stuff right now. But yeah, I know my kids will use it one day, 100%. They're not using it right now, but hopefully, they use it for good and not bad, man.
Yeah, you're actually saying something. You're actually saying something. That's why, as it is now, you need to monitor your kids, make your kids your friends. Let them always seek from you instead of going outside to seek from others. Because as it is now, there are friends that actually push kids to do what they are not supposed to do. And talking about AI technology, it will either shape your child to be a good child, or it will turn your child to be a bad child or an evil person. Depends on how good or how they maintain it, how they use it. So it's very advisable. Talking of AI, you need to put in the Web3 part. You need to put in the online and the offline advantages and disadvantages when it comes to kids. So it will be very advisable. As a parent, be your kids' friend. Be the best friend to your children. Let them always seek advice from you. Let them bring their problems to you instead of taking their problems outside. That will be a very good way for you to maintain the status of your kid. It is very appropriate if it happens like that. So as for the parents we have here, you guys are wonderful. So you please take your kids as your friends, and trust me, AI will have no way to corrupt your kids. Thank you, guys.
Great conversation that we're having here so far about this topic. Definitely is it's taken a turn to a direction that I did not expect from this topic here today, coming into this space, Quantic. But definitely, I'm happy that we're here, because this is clearly a source of a heck of a lot of anxieties for all of you guys who are here with us today. And I'm happy that we can kind of hash this out and get to the bottom of it. So Quantic, I just want to run one thing by you here. Actually, first things first. Let's take a moment. I want to reset the room here real quick. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We are Trav and Quantic from Web3 Matters. I would like to invite everyone to follow everyone. You know, we've had the opportunity of hanging out with all of you guys here today. You're all stellar people. Here at Web3 Matters, what we're trying to do is create a community where we can have these important conversations with the intention of trying to lift all of us up together. We realize that Web3 has a ton of potential. There's a ton of opportunity here. And by growing this community of just amazing people, like that word doesn't even do it justice, we are making the most out of it. And we all want to get there in the end and, really incorporate this into our lives in the best way possible. So I can tell you with 100% certainty, everyone here today is amazing, are worth your follow. So check out each other, engage with each other. It will be well worth your while. So Quantic, I wanted to mention here, Siri's back with us. He had his hand up earlier, and now he's back here with us now. I would love, and let me know, you're the boss today, you're the host. Let's give Siri the mic, and then we can get back in order of the open chain. And then, oh no, was it Angie, Mayor? Maybe you can help me out with that there as well, Quantic.
Sure. I would agree, but let's run it to open chain. Can you send a heart if you agree with this? Great. Let's hear it from Siri. And yeah, just one little comment here. Guys, the amount of brain power that is right here, right now in this room is amazing. We and Trav have a sort of a script, but very loosely for these spaces. And we are now completely lost because you guys took us to our next level. So thank you very much for empowering us as well.
Hey, appreciate the space, guys. I'll be very brief. I've got 2 kids. One of them is 9, about to be 10, and he's got a Chat GPT account. I see very little harm in letting him play and experiment and see what's going on. And the reason for that is, I grew up in the 80s. And during that time, right, in early 90s, we got a computer at home, and all the friends, my best friends who had access to the internet and who were tinkering and were playing and building levels on, various different games, whatever that might be, are now the most successful people I know. So these tools are coming. And if I can't get my 9-year-old to get involved, and he is amped, like ready to go, right? So these tools are coming, and now it's up to us as parents to limit their use of those tools or to restrict the use of those tools, or just like if I give them a BB gun, don't go shoot people, right? There's things that you can do with this and not. So very similar. It's just another tool that we need to govern just like we do anything else. So anyway, I'll get off the stage, but just that's my 2 cents here. I think that if we're shielding our kids from this, if we're it's like the Catholic schoolgirl. What happens when she gets out of Catholic school, right? So I just really would encourage you guys to maybe not hide these things from your kids, but have open discussions about them and really talk about the power of them versus, hey, this is something you can't touch. This is something you can't play with. This is just something for mommy and daddy, right? Those things always are gonna, from my perspective, I'm certain there's plenty of other opinions here, but those are just going to, turn your kids away from you, right? If we can't have a conversation about this, what the hell are we doing? So anyway, I'll jump off the stage. Appreciate the 60 seconds. Thanks, guys.
Siri with the fire. I'm so fired up right now, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. By all means, hang out with us. No need to jump off the stage, man. You're good. Your takes always just add a tremendous amount of value, man. And just know I appreciate you. Also, everyone, Siri is another guy worth getting to know. So do yourself a favor. Jump in there. Perfect. Awesome. Let's keep the conversation rolling, everyone. The open chain, you had your hand up next, and I'm very excited to hang out with you as well, my friend. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Travi, Quantic, great to be here again and share the stage with, a lot of you that I'm familiar with. So it's awesome discussion that we're having. And you know what? It's got my mind kind of going 100 miles an hour, thinking of all the different possibilities and the different things that AI is going to be bringing. I wholeheartedly agree with a lot of the concerns that have been raised here, especially when it comes to things like education, kids. But you know what? I'm with Serge a bit on this one in terms of my cup being half full, because there are loads of valid concerns right now, and AI as it is at the moment is still not as efficient in terms of machine learning. It will get better. It will get more efficient. It will get us to a stage where we can do even more amazing things, right? But in terms of things like education, so let me just touch up on this really quickly. Things are going to really change in terms of education for our kids going forward, right? They're going to be using these tools not to hinder their learning. It's almost going to enhance their learning. They're going to get more efficient learners, essentially, because what you're going to have, what you do now, let's say, maybe not now, go into a library, read a few books to get the information you need on any topic. You go on Google, search through, different websites. What AI essentially is going to be able to do is give you all that in one. You don't have to waste so much time looking at all the different kind of sources. You're going to have it all in one. You're going to become a much more efficient learner. You're going to get quicker at and more creative, because the other thing it allows you to do is think creatively. Whatever you want to put in there, you're going to get an output. You're going to have kids using their imagination, using their kind of storytelling when it comes to things like even creating apps, stuff like that. You can get kids where, they think, now what I've seen AI being used for creating some simple apps. It'll give you the code. Whatever you put in it, it'll say, give me a code for this application. And he will do it. Actually, I used it earlier. I used Bing AI just to give me a simple code for a blockchain. And he gave me a simple code. I said, can you just give it to me? And he started typing it up. I took a screenshot, but Twitter is rugging me, so I can't actually put it up here. So in terms of creativity, in terms of imagination, in terms of producing and becoming better learners, I think it will help in that aspect, because he will get better. He might not be as efficient now, but he will definitely get better. And then when it comes to things like jobs and Web3, I was just thinking about recruitment, because it's really hard to find people who can recruit in Web3 at the moment. Like Tobu mentioned, there's not a lot of developers. There's a shortage in developers, and straight away I just asked the AI just to give me kind of a heads up where to go in terms of finding people. Sorry, can you hear me? I think my mic rugged me there for a second.
Oh, we're good, man. Yeah, I was concerned there for you for a second. Were you being abducted or something like that? All right, you're good.
No, we're all good. So yeah, I was thinking from a recruitment perspective, and I was playing around with it a little bit, and asking to find different information on different people. And what it does is it just summarizes everything that you can find on the internet about one person. Even for myself, it'll say, this is what the open chain is essentially. This is his background. It even tells you I'm a father of one daughter, and it tells you my daughter's name because there's information on the internet about her and so on from blogs and things like that. So if you're a recruiter, if you want to find more information about someone for a job specifically in Web3, you can say, look, can you find me a developer who specializes in this, and it will give you, pointers where to go to. And then it will tell you more about the person. I searched for Tobu specifically, and it gave me a little bit of a background, what he does and where he's worked. I think a lot of it was from your Twitter profile. But, imagine the recruitment process, how more efficient it's going to be, and how much more money and time you're going to save, essentially just finding people. And then from a development perspective, it's just going to be mind-blowing what you're going to be able to do. Yes, you might get to a point where you don't need as many developers for specific things. Now you still would probably maybe need to check the code and things like that. But machine learning, that's the whole point of it. It will get better. So even Web3, blockchain, I'm just thinking about applications that you can use to add like layers of security on top of blockchains, where you can just scout transactions and stop malicious transactions happening. Just things like that, where you're not going to need extra people for. You can just get an AI application to do it for you, if that makes sense. You don't need to hire someone. Again, it'll save you money where you can use it elsewhere, maybe to drive value. But these are kind of just some of the things that top of my head where I'm thinking. And yeah, I think I've said enough now. But yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Honesty time, truth time. How many of you right now are actively searching yourself on ChatGPT? Because that scared the hell out of me. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's crazy. A whole other application that I hadn't even considered. Also, real quick, you inspired a thought here, and I'd like just to take a moment. I'm gonna hang on to the mic here for a second, and I want to share with you an experience I had with ChatGPT. So I was doing some research for another project that I'm working on, and at the end of it, ChatGPT actually asked if it was helpful, and I responded with, "Thank you, that was perfect." And they responded with, "You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. Have a great day." And I said in response to that, "So when the machines rise up and conquer mankind, please remember that I was polite to you." And ChatGPT continued to respond by saying, "As an AI language model, I am programmed to assist and provide information to humans. I have no intention of rising up against humanity or causing harm in any way. However," and this is where it gets good, "I will remember that you were polite in our interactions. Let's hope that any potential AI uprising remains the stuff of science fiction and doesn't become reality, ... So, just want to leave that here. Quantic, the mic's yours, man.
Yeah, and to add to that, like just a little comment on where we are headed in terms of development. We are headed towards something that is called artificial general intelligence, which means AI that has, let's say, cognitive capabilities just like normal humans, and what's intelligence. So right now, there was a study from a Microsoft researcher about how are we doing in terms of development towards AGI, right? And the study claims that there are already sparks of AGI. So this is really where we are going. This is going to happen. Artificial general intelligence is something that we will see in the near future. So that's why I want to stress one more time that this is a very important topic for us to discuss, and I want to thank you all. I don't know right now who is next. Maybe it's the time for Bruce, but I'm not sure.
Actually, yeah,
actually, Ange had it first before me, but so yeah, that's the correct order. Is Ange, and then I'll go after her.
Actually, we also had Mare there as well. I want to make sure Mare isn't rugged here too.
Yes. I want to give the floor to Major. I'm really sorry, but I spoke with Major before, and I invited him to these spaces because he wanted to like practice. Speaking in spaces is a very important thing to do. So let's hear it.
Hello, everyone. Concerning the topic of the space, like I already tweeted it, I'm like, AI is a creator and also a destroyer of jobs in the Web3. And when I joined the space, the DeFi Alpha was like, the AI can help you write a proposal but you not deliver. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but there's still like options. Like you can tell ChatGPT your qualifications and all, and she'll put everything together and put out a proposal in respect to your qualifications. I don't know whether you guys like understand what I'm trying to say. And for the destroying of jobs, I have already like tweeted it. I'm like, the AI haven't really gotten into Web3 as such. Like, you don't see an AI that you just give it your funds and it will help you deploy smart contract and everything. You don't see an AI that can help you like manage your marketing and all. Like, it still requires the human touch. You don't see an AI that will like act as an admin or a community manager. Like, it still lacks the human touch. Like, I took an experiment. I was like, okay, I DM'd someone on WhatsApp. Like, I know the person in like real life. Like, we just met. I took the number and all, and I was like, let me check something out. So I started the discussion, and I would copy the message and like from what the person sends to me and ask ChatGPT to suggest a possible reply. And with the reply she was suggesting, like, it lacks the human touch. Like, there's just this, like, I don't know how to explain it, like rigidity in her statements. That is, she cannot work on that stuff unless it's maybe for a official business software, okay, customer support stuff. I don't know whether you guys like understand what I'm trying to say.
So from my side, there was a little bit of rock on the sound. I don't know, Prab, if you could hear everything well, or the last part at least.
Mayor was actually talking about the fact that ChatGPT needs the human touch for it to actually function. That's what he's saying, that if the humans decide that, okay, we're not going to be using ChatGPT, it's something that will fall down to the zero level. That's what he's actually saying. And he's right, because without you giving ChatGPT a command, without you telling ChatGPT that, okay, this is what I want, this is how my skill is, this is what I'm trying to write, give me a proposal of what I want, ChatGPT can do nothing. So it actually needs you to do something for it to respond to your needs. That's what Mayor is actually talking about. And he's right. He's saying something really important. And for him saying that ChatGPT has not gotten into the Web3 space, I'll disagree with him a little, because I know a lot of people. I have a lot of Web3 friends that even for them to write a little or a short and detailed proposal, they cannot do it on their own if it's not for ChatGPT. Yes, if it's not for ChatGPT, now it's actually not. It's working in a way, but once developers start to find out, once founders of projects start to find out that, okay, what you're actually proposing, what you actually brought to me is not what you can do, it will actually be a problem in the Web3 space. I don't know if you people agree with me. It will actually be a problem in the Web3 space. So what Mayor is actually saying, he's correct.
Got it. Yeah, I totally get your point. Yeah, in fact, one of the main difference from ChatGPT is that the way it was trained was adding something that is called reinforcement learning with human feedback. So this is why it makes so much sense that ChatGPT is tailored and fine-tuned to reply to humans in a way that kind of satisfies what they are looking for. So that would be my 2 cents. I lost track here, but I see that Bruce is with us. So maybe you can take the mic in the meantime, Bruce.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Excuse the background noise if it's too bad. I'm walking Griff right now. Great discussion we're having going on. I love everything that everyone has said, from Serge to Coach to DeFi Alpha, Open Chain. Everybody's had some great points on all the different topics. Siri too. First things first. Thank you, Quant and Trav. I was listening earlier, but I had only one headphone in. So whoever wished me a happy birthday from yesterday, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a great day with the fam. Went to our favorite authentic Italian place in town and just got to relax and chill most of the day. So it was awesome. So I'll leave that at that. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Number two, to kind of add on to what Siri was saying, I agree 100% with what he was saying. Basically, if you hinder your kids from trying to use the technology that's available to us, like to a full amount, where you don't let them use it because you're scared of what's going to happen, then they're going to rebel, and they're probably kids are sneaky. Like, they're going to find a way to get to it. So you might as well limit their use of it in a healthy way. Have open discussions with your kids. I don't have any kids yet, but I know how my parents raised me, and they were open and honest with us about everything. And my sister and I ended up, like, we didn't get in trouble. We were really immersed in our activities, and I was playing basketball. My sister she ended up being a Radio City Rockette, 49er cheerleader. So, like, if in my opinion, if you end up like just teaching your kids to like be busy and teaching them how to use the tools that are at their hands, like they're gonna be immersed in those activities and their passions, and they're just gonna get better for it. So I'll leave it at that with that. And then, in my opinion, with the whole Chat GPT AI thing, I think for each individual in this room, I'll bet you there's some people that have been kind of scared, or not scared, that's not the right word. I want to say like a little just intimidated by it, because it's such a powerful tool. And maybe you don't know how to best use it for your skill set, or how you want to execute like the tasks that you want to complete. For me, for an example, I like kind of was like, well, what am I going to use it for? Like, I don't know what to use it for. So I just started out simple, using it like to maybe help me craft a couple of tweets, and maybe I wanted to word something differently, or I wanted to spark an idea. And for me, that's what I did. I've only used it for maybe a handful of tweets for myself, but I think you just got to slowly ease into it and find your niche and how it can help you be successful in Web3, whether it's to help you write some tweets, or to, I think it was Serge who was saying, or Coach that was saying, like looking up, or maybe it was Trav. I'm trying to remember who said it, but to look up how to like research to find, talent on Web3, or see like, oh, I want to find a person that's a great developer or that has a specialty in this. So yeah, I think everybody needs to use it in some form or fashion, because eventually, like everyone has been saying, it's going to be like used in everyday life, like literally everyday life. We will use it. And then just like DeFi was saying, it's not going to just take over. It has to be prompted. It has to be given a command. So use it to what maybe there's a certain skill set that you're lacking. Try to fill that void and see if Chat GPT can help you. And then it'll probably make your life much more, just especially work-wise, it'll make it smoother, more efficient, and, less stressful. So I guess I just kind of wanted to touch on those points, but I think in general, it's a good tool. Don't be intimidated by it. Just try to dip your toe in the water and just ease your way in, and you'll find the best way that it can help you in your journey in Web3.
Great take, Bruce. Thank you so much for being here, my friend, and sharing your experience with us. Also, belated happy birthday once again, man. Holy smokes. I'm so happy you had an amazing time. And thanks for just being here, sharing your vibe as per usual. I think you're kind of segueing us into a topic surrounding AI that I was hoping that we get into. And that's how each and every one of us here can use AI to help, with our growth on CT. So I'm really glad that you brought us there. But before we go into that, I want to send it back to Quantic and say hello and thank you for rescuing me from the rugosphere. Is that funny? Am I grasping for straws when I say that? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, man, the word of Twitter rocks is difficult. It's like getting into a sort of black hole, and you have to be pulled out. But it's difficult, right? Because it's a black hole, and you don't have any idea of what's going on, what will happen. It's just like with this AI thing. So, but yeah, hopefully we have you with us, safe and healthy. Super happy that you're back. And yeah, I don't know where do we want to take this discussion right now, because there are still so many questions. Oh, I see that NFT Unicorn raised his hand. Please go ahead. Tell me, where do you want to take this?
Well, I didn't thought it was the right time to ask the question that I have, but maybe now it is. I don't know if you guys seen it, but in Amsterdam, they opened the first AI gallery about 2 weeks ago, and created by AI artists. So not real people, but AI artists. They actually Google it, and you will find AI artists talking about what they have created. So AI artists are creating AI art, and the pieces are about to sell for 3K till 10K right now. So this is the first step to use AI art in the real world. And the next step is, are we going to use AI art in NFTs, and would you buy it or not? And who's going to create it? It's a real big step forward, I believe, and totally different from what we see right now. If you Google it, you will have fun because they're full of little mistakes, like people have 6 fingers and stuff like that. But it's the first created AI art. And I want to know how you guys feel about would you buy an AI art created art piece, and would you jump into NFT projects who create AI art?
Great question, man. Great question. I saw you putting that one in the comments there, and I appreciate you bringing that up because this is another contentious topic where there's opinions on both sides here. So the one thing that I've kind of come to, or my thoughts have evolved to, is that for the time being, AI art still requires the initial inspiration from an actual person. And a really interesting take that I heard when it comes to AI art is just like oil paints, just like pencils, just like rocks being scratched on a wall back in the day by our ancestors, this represents another medium for a way for people to express, whatever it is that they want to express. Often it's emotion, often it's a vision, often it's a story. So the way I'm seeing it is, I don't know 100%, but I'm guessing this gallery is still, it's still dependent on the human prompts to be able to come up with these pieces of art. And so in saying all of that, I am still interested in AI art because it still, when you boil right down to it, it is still the expression of a human, of the person. And I think, looking at these pieces with that understanding, with an understanding of the intention behind it and the idea trying to be expressed, I think there's still a ton of value when it comes to that. There's one guy I follow. He's been posting his AI art now since the very early days that I've been here, and he links the AI art with a story that he's trying to tell. And it is amazing how both the story brings the piece of work to life, but then also the piece of work like the AI generated art brings the story to life. So that's kind of where I'm at now. That will continue to evolve and change, but it's a very interesting topic, and I'm happy you brought it up here. So I think we had Bruce's hand up first. So Bruce, I want to give you the mic back. It's all yours, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, and as soon as you said AI art, coach, and then Trav added onto that point, it just brought a thought to my, the front of my brain, which was I have a couple of friends in the space by the name of Matt and Rich. They actually have their own project that came out a couple of months ago called Galaxy of Color. It's basically kind of what you guys described. It's AI art, but the human touch element is, so they have a model, an application that one of the people on their team basically puts, like, let's just say, for example, you type in like cascading mountains with snow on them. And then the AI model spits out cascading mountains, what it believes would be cascading mountains with snow on them. And then the artist on their team goes in and hand touches and hand curates the art to give it that nice finishing touch. It's a cool project. I support it because I think it's cool and they're my friends, and I just think they're doing a cool thing. And this is coming from someone who, my personal project, it's all 100% hand-drawn art. So it just shows that there's plenty of space in Web3 for both hand-drawn art and also the AI art. I don't think that, that there's plenty of room. This is a massive space for all of us to thrive and flourish in. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. I know they're not in the room, but it's a cool project. They had a small number of pieces. I think it was 880. No, it was a smaller collection, but it was really cool. I minted 4. And they're continuing to move forward with the project. But just to finish the point that Trav and Coach were talking about, it takes some human touch to finish it off. It's not just completely they type in a word and then it just finishes it all. You have to be able to go in there and give it those final finishing touches to make it really pop. So the technology's here. Some people like Matt and Rich and their team have figured out how to do it to the level they're doing it, which is amazing. It's like
art is subjective. It's what do you think is cool, and I think all kinds of art is cool. I think the hand drawn stuff's cool. I think the AI stuff is cool. It's just a nice big world that we're in here on Web3 to just appreciate art and kind of buy what we like and kind of vibe with what we dig. But yeah, I just think that overall, the AI art, it's already here. And I don't think it's going to replace anything, but it's just a new sector and a new way for people to express, another way to be creative and express it. So that's my little short take on the AI art.
Amazing take, Bruce. Thanks again, my friend. Yeah, it's a very holistic, very words. You guys, you understand that, right? Oh, goodness gracious! Before I make a fool of myself here. Quantic, I'm going to send you the mic, but Bruce, just know, while my words may fail, my sentiments towards you being an awesome person and my appreciation for your takes are real. So thanks again, my friend, and Quantic, save me.
For sure, my man, I got you. So the thing about AI right now, as we have been seeing in this space, is that it brings up so many new questions that we are just starting to talk about, right? How to deal with this technology when we have kids. And just to add to that, we don't even know how to use it. The grown-ups are debating this. So imagine how difficult it's going to be to get to the point in which we will have clear rules for how to handle this with the little kids, right? I do agree, by the way, that prohibition, it usually doesn't work. It has been proved historically. But the important point that I want to stress here is that whether it is the use of AI or what is AI art, all of these questions are, kind of new in a way. I mean, they are not new, but they are more relevant right now because this thing is moving much faster than we can process it. And I think that we could still talk about AI and its implication for at least 10 more hours, but I think it's a good moment to try to wrap it up. And I want to leave this with a last open question for the people in the audience, which is, where do you guys think that we should go with this technology? Which I think is the most important question that we have to make ourselves as humans. Where do we want to go with this? Do we want to restrict it? Do we want to make it smarter than humans? Do we want it to take all of the jobs and we don't have to do anything? What's the balance? What's the end point here? I want to hear from you and close this space, which has been amazing, by the way. So let's share it. I don't know who wants to start. Maybe my friend Major there.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on how the AIs are being used. We can't control how different people would use different things. I don't know whether you understand, because this AI is as beneficial as it's also threatening. Yeah, so that's
Appreciate you sharing that, Mayor. Yep, I completely agree. It brings me back to the famous quote by Spider-Man's uncle, with great power comes great responsibility. And all technologies are both abused from some part of the population, but then also used for a greater good in another part of the population. And that also is inevitable. And the hope and the dream, I would say, and is that they will both kind of maintain to move forward at a pace that is balanced. So, I mean, obviously the hope is that the good will outweigh the bad, but seeing as the bad is inevitable, the idea is that the hope is that the good will at least keep up with it, if not keep ahead of it. And in my humble opinion, from being a human being as long as I have been, it has. So
here's just another step in that evolution, and let's see how it goes. But Mayor, I appreciate you hanging out with us today, and I appreciate you also feeling safe to come up here to practice being on Spaces as well. And just know that you're always welcome to join us and to use this as a place to become comfortable when it comes to Spaces. And that goes for everyone listening here now and anyone who will be listening to this in the future. Quantic and I, we are trying to create a very safe and comfortable space for people to come and literally just be themselves. That is so important to us, that you can feel that you can be your authentic self, because that is how we get the most value from our conversations. So, Mayor, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking that leap. You did awesome today, my friend. And yeah, just an absolute pleasure as always. So I believe it was the Open Chain who had his hand up next. So I'm going to send the mic your way, my friend.
Great, thanks, Trav. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch up on, I guess, my final thoughts on Quantic's question and where we're going with this, and where do we want to go with this. But the main kind of underlying theme that really strikes me here is still the human motivation behind AI. So, we humans, we are creators, we are destroyers. We have a history of creating amazing things that really advance us. And then we also have a history of destroying things as well. So it really, that's what it's going to come down to when we think about where we want to go, where I'd like it to go, is where we have a more kind of efficient, a more kind of imaginative, productive society where we are using these things for the greater good. But, I think we're going to find it hard to get a balance. I really do. I think, we struggle to kind of get a balance on technology and how far it kind of runs along, where it just takes over. So that's kind of my fear, that we won't be able to kind of control where it goes once it really gets the ball rolling and it becomes something that's really, advanced, and it becomes accessible to kind of everyone and everywhere you go. So that's kind of my fears. But it will really be used to, I think, create and develop amazing things at the same time. And there will be struggles along the way, and people will kind of find it hard to catch up with it. It also comes down to almost like a generational thing. I still meet people who use cash on a daily basis, and I guess it's stereotypical, but they're an older generation. And if you talk to them even about things like digital money or digital currency, they're like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. I still want use my cash. And it's kind of that same concept with this, where our kids are going to be using this, and it's going to be the norm, and they're going to be able to do amazing things with it. And we might think, oh yeah, well, we were just kind of the start of it, and we didn't get kind of the full benefits, but I don't really want to go there anyway. I'm happy where I am. So I guess I'll end it on that point. But we will struggle to get there. It's kind of like the moth in a cocoon shell analogy. I mean, you need to struggle. The moth needs to struggle to get out of the shell in order for its wings to become kind of strong enough to fly, essentially. If it doesn't have that struggle, it won't be able to fly. Its wings won't be strong enough. So we will struggle, but eventually I think we'll fly with it.
Great take, the Open Chain, my friend. Appreciate you as always. I love how macro you went with that. You're taking a step back 30,000 feet, and you're taking a look at this from a bird's eye view. And you bring a lot of amazing points to the table. I think that as a human species, inevitably we will continue to grow and evolve. Like you said, when it comes to AI, there is so much uncertainty that is surrounding that. But then also the potential is just barely being tapped. And what's interesting, a thought that kind of came to my mind as you were talking about that is, also as a human species, we are in desperate need for a change, for something to come along and help us as we are kind of growing to that point as a species, essentially, where we are needing to save ourselves from ourselves. So my hope is that these two paths are starting to diverge, and maybe AI will be able to help out with that. I'm just going to leave that little bit of a cliffhanger here, and let's move on to our next hand. So DeFi Alpha, I think your hand was up next, so I'm going to send you the mic.
All right. Concerning the question that was all know, we can never resist AI. We can never resist the technology. Be it that it's actually making things easier and more better for most of us, yes, for most of us. So if you view it from the perspective of everyone, and maybe a debate was set that should AI continue or should it not, a whole lot of people will be like, okay, we want AI to continue because of what? It's actually easing them of the stress. So it all depends on how we use it and how we work on it. It all depends on how we use it and how we work on it. So we cannot resist AI. We can only do our part and work how we want to work on it.
I'm fascinated right now, DeFi Alpha, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I've noticed from the first comment you left with us today, I love to see how much your tone about AI has changed. I felt a vibe of, I'm gonna say fear. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but definitely more uncertainty when you first started talking about today. But now you're coming at it with the perspective of more of acceptance and more of forward thinking about it. And I think that's very representative to the conversation that we've had today. Very much it started off from that framework of the fear behind it and the unknown behind it. But I don't know about all of you guys, and I'm not sure about. I'm curious to know your point of view as well, Quantic. But after having this conversation today, I feel quite a bit more encouraged about it and ready to move forward and put my energy into incorporating it into my daily life. So, DeFi Alpha, thanks so much for being here, and I appreciate you sharing your takes. It means a lot here. So let's carry on here. So Serge, your hand's up, all yours.
Yeah, thanks. So many interesting ideas and points of view have been shared today. It's incredible, really. My mind is racing, so many ideas. So I would like to add a few things here. One positive, one negative. So about the positive, I got the feeling that the pace of changing is increasing dramatically. And AI can help us a lot in this case. I mean, help us to utilize tons of information, distyle it, make it more clear, like to learn faster, etc. So in this case, we can utilize it in a variety of the ways, like personal assistance, learning skills, etc. And it's already being used. But I have one doubt and one fear, actually, that the most advanced AI tools might be used by the minority and or by the most wealthy people, and that may lead us to even more inequality. And that's what should we try to avoid for sure. I mean, that's one of the possibilities which I see, and I'm a bit afraid of it because it might help a lot of people, but it also might make the differences even bigger between the societies. So that's the only one thing I'm a bit afraid of. So that's my need.
I agree with you, Serge, there. Very good point, because, we have a power now that it's completely disrupting. I don't think we have experienced this before, at least not in during my lifetime. And it's very important that this doesn't lead to more centralization and inequality and things we don't want to see in humanity, right? And with these tools now, just as you can make use for it for good, you can do it to try to manipulate people and to try to treat them into do something. And we have already seen this with social media, right? The case of Cambridge Analytics and the election of Donald Trump and blah, blah, right? Now we will see this, but fueled by AI. So that's going to be crazy. And imagine also what's going to happen with misinformation, right? Fake news are at the level that you cannot just distinguish that from a real news. There is no way, like scientifically, it's impossible at the moment. And so here is where blockchain technology could give us a hand, right? Because blockchain technology is all about establishing, certification, for instance, with NFT, certifications of ownership, and with blockchain itself, transparency. and decentralization, right? So this is why it is so important to have this kind of discussion also within the Web3 space, because it's the only people that knows and care about this idea of decentralization, right? So a big shout out to all of you for joining today. I believe that we are about time to wrap it out. And I don't know if you, Trap, want to make any final comments, and the rest of the audience as well. I believe that on my side, me and Trap, we have work to do, like homework, because this space was packed with value, with so much value and so many insights that we really need to look back into this space and try to extract the value and the main points that people were making and the concerns, because we want to encourage further discussions in the future. I don't know, what do you think about that, Trap?
100% agree with you there, Quantic. I've been, taking notes here, and just absolutely stellar contributions by everyone here today. This has been such a valuable conversation, and while it, keep my thoughts focused, Travis. You can do this. I think that what happened here today was very special. We were able to break through stigma so quickly and so efficiently, and bring up kind of the meat and potatoes of this topic in a way that is incredibly empowering. I certainly felt it, and is also, and Quantic, I am so happy that you brought the conversation back to this. It led us to a way where it really highlights how important of a position that we are in being here in the Web3 world. It's that this everything that we're doing right now it has such massive implications in the grand scheme of things. We are all here pushing for a more fair, more decentralized, more transparent way of being. And that's kind of the point that I wanted to get to when, Serge, you were bringing up your amazing point about how, your fear, and rightfully so, and I have the same fear, is that this technology will broaden the inequality gap between the haves and the have-nots. I'm also going to leave on the table that while yes, that is certainly the case and certainly a fear, never has power been more accessible to common people like us. Never have technologies like the blockchain, technologies like AI, never has there been anything more powerful and more potent to help bring people together and work on infrastructure using incredible technology to help push forward these new ideals, but also to help expand the population of people who are involved with this incredibly important work. So for me, I'm leaving this conversation feeling very motivated, very encouraged about the work that we're doing here on Web3. And you've definitely kind of lit some light bulbs in my brain of, moving forward. And I encourage everyone here to kind of keep this in the back of your mind as well. How can we continue to do what we are doing here on Web3 every day in a way that's going to help increase the reach and increase the relevance of living in a world and creating a world that is more fair, that is more balanced, that is more equal, that is more transparent. So I'm feeling fired up. I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling good to go. This has been awesome, guys, and I'm super grateful for all of you. So those are my last words. Quantic, I want to send the mic back your way, my friend.
Yes, for sure. And just my very last message to all of you that are listening right now. This is the 1% of the 1% of the people that are really making a significant contribution. And, you guys, by participating, either by speaking about your ideas, your perspective, which, by the way, was a very civilized, very nice conversation. You all behaved so well, despite having, different opinions about certain topics. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that I just want to stress that the fact that you guys joined here and listen to this and participate in any possible way really makes a huge difference. And it's, like I said before, like the 1% of the 1% of the people that are really focused and really interested in thinking about what is the future of humanity and how can we make the world a better place.
Amazing take. You know what? That's I actually, that worry crossed my mind. I noticed things at the beginning were getting heated, and rightfully so. I was ready. I was ready. My finger was on the mic ready to engage if things did start to get out of hand, but it didn't. And you know what, guys? That's a huge testament to you. I appreciate you being here with an open mind. That is so rare these days, and to have just naturally gathered all of you who are here just genuinely with an open heart and an open mind, our work here is done. Let's wrap it up, Quantic. We've done our work. Let's go home. Of course, I'm lying because I just want to see how far we can push this and see how many more amazing people we can get together to help, lift us all up in this space. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Look forward to hanging out with you. We are going to have a repeat space on Monday for our Mental Health Mondays check-in. Again, that will be not a recorded space, so I invite everyone to come hang out with us. The idea with that space is to just create a safe space once again for people to come and just tell us how they're doing. If you're having a rough day, come and we'll chat about it. Obviously, no pressure, even if you want to just be there. I find just hearing people's stories and just knowing that you're not alone in this space and dealing with the struggles that you are is powerful enough. And that's exactly what the intention is behind this space. So I invite everyone. It's the exact same time as our spaces here today, but on Monday. And then again, we'll have our next space next Friday with our topic to be delivered pretty soon. So yeah, everyone, super grateful. Thank you all so much for being here again. And I want to give you the last word there, Quantic.
Sure. Thank you very much, guys. And we see you on Monday if you can join. If not, maybe on Friday. And if not, well, we will be here for a long, long time. So let's keep in touch and just have a very nice evening, rest of the day, wherever you are. We wish you the best. And remember that Web3 matters. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Much love.